Again, we have the 29th IS and the 501st Falcons here playing quarterfinals to determine who will go and meet the 34th Ducks at the finals for the Fort Meade Cup. Here casting today, I'm myself, Rohan. I'm here with George Bush Mid and
Hello.
Blue Stun.
Hello.
So we're already kind of in a draft here. We have the 29th banning out Soraka and Briar, and then on the Falcon side, they got Nefiri and Thresh.
Yep. Daddy Yum Yums on the 29th. Big Thresh player. Pretty much Thresh only player, so that's a clear ban for them. The Nefiri ban, I think that is bait. I think Korn Mueller or No One Creed fan doesn't really like to play Nefiri anymore, yet it still gets banned out. Looks like they're taking Yone away from Yubi in the top lane. We have seen Sejuani's Flail play the Briar, and I believe the 501st support likes Soraka as well. So these teams know each other very well, and they're taking things away from each other.
Yeah, I think both supports are I don't want to say one tricks, but they definitely have priority champs that they like to pick. Soraka on the side of the 29th and then Thresh on the side of the 501st. I do think that the Yorick and the Fury bans are interesting because this does mean next game, Soraka, Thresh, and Yorick can all be played by the opposite teams. Um, because it's
Yes.
soft fearless. So
Right.
next game might get a little bit spicy if everyone's on their comfort picks, but
Yep.
um,
And then we see the Rel come out. That is Daddy Yum Yum's secondary pick when there is no Thresh. Looks like they're getting that first, so it's not stolen from them, and it passes through those second waves of bans.
yeah. Rel does reveal a decent amount though. She's kind of a one theme champ. She goes in, and that is about it. So I think the decent counter already coming out with the Braum. He loves when champs are in his face and engaging into him. And then we see a possible Kaisa being hovered right now. Yeah, Kaisa as well. So um, not sure exactly what the Kaisa is going to be looking for, but maybe they're going to have some backline engage that she can follow up on.
Yep, a lot of synergy with the Braum Kaisa. Also, Kraken has played Kaisa before in this tournament and done quite well. And yeah, those two play together, practice together in the bot lane, know each other well. A lot of synergy. Earlier, we saw the Morgana Jhin, I think, and a lot of preemptive black shields. And so those guys work together really well. I think a lot of preemptive black shields into the Syndra APC is what they played against. And the
Yeah.
Cassiopeia.
Yeah, I don't know how. I'm curious what this third pick's gonna be. I feel like Rel and Cassio are anti on different, completely different game plans. Udyr as well. I think more falls in line with the Cassiopeia, just kind of like a slow burn um, tank there. I'm curious if that is going to be. I'm assuming it's going to be the jungle Udyr. I'm pretty sure that's what the jungle in 90, the 29th likes to play. But it
Yep,
could go top lane, so it can be a flex pick.
yep.
Uh, as we see the Vi coming out here. So it kind of like I said before, some backline engage from the Vi. So Kaisa has a target to always ult to and get into the backline pretty effectively there. But again, it might be hard for Vi right now. I don't see any great targets for her to go on to.
I think we might have some more audio issues. I think some of us are quieter than the rest of us.
Okay,
See
I
if that's
can
fixable.
see. Um,
Maybe, are we low on your Discord, maybe?
are you guys the ones that are low? Is that better?
I'm not sure. Awesome. We just see a chat message.
We'll see. Hopefully that helps. Yeah, chat. Let us know if there's anything.
Oh, I think I am louder. Okay.
Oh,
So
well, that I will.
I can maybe turn myself down on Discord.
Oh, I got it. I got it. I got it. I'm gonna put you at 84%. Same thing with them. All right, should be good. All right. So Hui, Diana, and Victor Gallio coming out here. Um, Again, I think the Galio is a really good ban from the 29th because they're trying to make sure that there's not another easy engager on the back line with the Vi. Um, and so I'm curious what the 501st are going to prioritize here. They still need mid and top, and Aatrox. Aatrox, another good engaging champ, should be able to help with the theme of their team comp right now.
This is a safe pick for UB. He has a lot of hours on Aatrox. I think the Galio was actually a throwaway ban. I think maybe they're penalized one ban. I'm not sure.
That would make sense.
Yes. The game didn't start until more than 5 minutes after the starting time. And they didn't have their full team.
Okay, so yeah, one ban lost. I thought it was a decent ban, but they probably at least negotiated that beforehand, and no one was going to pick Galio, so they went for it. Twisted Fate, I have not seen in a hot minute, so curious to see. I mean, it could be a Cassio top lane and a Twisted Fate mid, or it could be a Twisted Fate AD carry. That was kind of how he was played when he was last meta. Yeah, so it is it's either Cassio or Twisted Fate AD carry with the Rel, and then I'm almost leaning towards I feel like the Cassio is probably in the bot lane there. Twisted Fate mid, Malphite top. But right now their team comp's looking kind of honestly, they have a lot of engage. They have a lot of CC, a lot of just point and click, and so I think they're going to have enough damage as well. They don't have a lot of AD damage though, unless that Twisted Fate's going towards an AD build. A lot of their damage type is magic. And then the Sylas coming out, a lot of great ults for him to steal. He's got the global from TF, Cassio ulti's great, Rel ult's great, and then obviously the Malphite. One of Malphite's worst matchups in the game is the Sylas, so
Yep.
yeah. How do you guys, I guess in general, what are you guys feeling right now about the team comps? Who do you think's got the edge in draft?
It feels like the 501st has really gone for counter the person before them, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, the red team counter picks, especially that third pick jungle, and then the Sylas following the Malphite. I think the 501st seems a lot more cohesive, really easy to land. CC, great synergy in the bot lane. They're all very mobile champions. Each one of these guys has some kind of dash. The 29th IS, you do bring up the fact that they're heavy AP. Twisted Fate does have a good amount of AD scaling. Udyr as well can build a little bit of AD here and there, but 501st is not that tanky. Vi, Aatrox, Sylas, all of these guys need to get damage items first, and then come late game, that tankiness is not important once you can get your tank shredding items as well. Yeah, I'm not really sure here. I think 501st have a healthier looking draft, but I wouldn't put it past the 29th to get an early lead, or maybe play really slow and have just some great TF ults across the map. Malphite wombos with a good amount of constant CC with TF card, Cassiopeia, and Malphite, maybe a wombo combo there. And then Rel can also, kind of gather the whole team for those two big CC ults.
Yeah, I think as you mentioned here, the 501st team comp looks like something you could see in pro. I mean, it looks like a pretty standard. Every single champ is meta right now, and I think they have a lot of congruency together, whereas I think the 29th team comp is a lot less so the case. I think a lot of these are off meta picks, and so
Yeah.
I think it's going to be more difficult to execute on their side. But I will say their lanes seem like, I feel like they have a lot more skirmish potential, and their lanes seem a lot more gankable. TF again with just a point and click card really sets up the Udyr for his point and click stun. Malphite ult, like they have a lot of things that can just, it's kind of simple to play their team comp in lane. But I think as we get to team fights, I would be surprised if the Falcons don't win if we're even on gold at some point when we're having Baron fights or late game Dragon fights. I just see the 501st coming out ahead.
Yep. So as the players do lock in their picks, that is going to be a Malphite top, Udyr jungle, Twisted Fate mid, and presumably a Cassiopeia APC in the bot lane with a Rel support.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious what's going to happen. They could swap the Aatrox and the Sylas so that Sylas could get the good matchup into Malphite. But I'm curious if they're going to do that or not, or if they're just going to play standard lanes and have Sylas go mid against the TF. I don't think that matchup's too bad for Sylas. He's just going to be gankable because he's going to be at melee range when he wants a CS, and again, the TF card. So curious to see if they do a lot of lane swaps here in order to try and get Sylas those good matchups.
With some good feet, I think the Twisted Fate is a little bit easy of a matchup. It's going to be easy for him. I think he's going to have great sustain, and when he needs to yellow card and back out, or maybe even proc like an electrocute, if that's what he's going to go, it'll be really easy into the Sylas. But yeah, Sylas doesn't need to match Malphite to steal that ult. But yeah, we definitely, that's a good forecast, is maybe Aatrox comes down for Dragon or something, and Sylas conveniently can rotate top and punish that Malphite a little bit.
Yeah. All right. Well, you guys have anything else on draft?
Nothing here.
No?
Nope.
All right. Then I'm going to send it over to intermission real quick, and we'll be back with the game. See you guys in a bit.
Okay.
All right. We should be in game here. Good to go as we see. Looks like on the 501st side, them grouping up here for an early game possible invade or just defending, and then we see on the 29th side a kind of defensive 5 points in them.
Yeah, that TF is smack dab in the middle of the map.
Yeah, it's definitely a killable. When mid laners are up like that, you can definitely, if you have any vision on them whatsoever, get a good angle on them from the side bushes and try
Could
to
be
go
a
for
bait,
kill. But
as Udyr and Rel have vision on the entrance to that bush.
mhm.
But yeah, you're totally right. He's very killable there. I think no team has spotted each other yet. Defensive wards and playing back. Yeah, a lot of tension for these guys. Whoever wins this game will move on to the finals against the 34th. And a little bit of that in all chat, little anti-34th banter.
Yeah, we see some pretty standard jungle started coming out here. Vi's looking a little bit Strange. She just did red buff and now she's going straight to her blue side. So possibly looking to get an early gank on mid lane here. Or to
Yeah,
invade
mid is
red
pushed
side.
in a little bit.
See a really good trade coming out there from UV. He's
Yeah,
got a stack
brutal,
wave as well.
Level 2 prio.
Yeah,
It's absolutely crucial that you respect that level 2 prio.
it shouldn't be
The level 1 Aatrox can poke you and hit the wave at the same time, and so it's easy for him to rush to level 2, and it's easy to underestimate how quickly he can get that and then just trade right into you.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna get too much out of this, to be honest. The Malphite's still gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Focusing on tower. You see, he gets early jungle vision, so the 20 or the 501st should know right now that Udyr's in his bot side jungle. As we see, Vi now has finished her clear. Again, she's done so a lot faster than Udyr because she skipped 2 camps. And we see the
Like a
gank on
double
mid lane
man
coming
gank
up.
here. Aatrox and Vi.
Braxy holding on to his flash. I think a little bit too long. I think if he would have flashed the Vi Q, he might have been able to get out, or at least have Sylas and Aatrox also have to blow their flashes. But either way, I mean, it's a lot of resources committed to that. Vi didn't do 2 of her camps, but I think it's worth it here if the Sylas can get this pressure removed and get it, be able to kind of go and roam around the map. I think it's going to be a good kind of pressure relief for them.
Yeah, we did see the Vi flash Q there, so it's a little hard to anticipate that. And then that Aatrox also put his Q. He was aiming for that flashback. He was kind of expecting that. An unfortunate death. That is what happens when you push up, Aatrox is missing. Why is he missing, And
Yeah, we see another gank coming in here in the top lane. I think the Malphite should be fine, but that is a flash gone. They're not going to be able to freeze that wave, though, so it shouldn't be... I might say corrected. I'm going to look top lane to see. No, he's got the 3 minions, so it is actually pretty bad for Malphite here. If the Aatrox is able to freeze that wave up top side, then I think the Malphite's just going to get into a position again where he's going to have to fight the Aatrox for CS, which is not what he wants to do.
There we go. Happy feet on the TF, dodging those abilities. Good trade pattern. This is an annoying lane to play into as a Sylas. Still poking him down. Yeah, maybe we can get Udyr up top to help kind of push that. Although it does seem like it's already
Yeah, it's pushing back.
rebounding.
I think maybe the range minions didn't have enough health for... Oh, as you see the Sylas going in here,
Oh,
not
wow.
much health, but that W is going to give him about 100 health back.
No flash to keep that fight up. No mana either on the TF. No teleport either. Tough spot for him. Udyr looks...
Yeah, both junglers, I think, they know that this mid lane is super volatile right now.
Oh, he has to... He has to not walk into a Sylas with flash up. He's gonna die. Oh my god.
Yeah, but the Sylas
Oh my
taking-
goodness.
Oh, Sylas already used the TFR there.
Oh,
I don't think we
didn't
saw
even
it,
notice
but I
that.
guess he was just trying to see where the jungler was. And with knowledge of the jungler, didn't they go in here knowing that Udyr was on the bot side?
Yeah, that's a big recall play right there. Unfortunately, he wanted to stay. And good job on the Vi for capitalizing on that. Oh, Malphite could get a kill here.
Yeah,
Aatrox does get his ult. Misses his first 2 Qs. Wow. Very well done by Sturmer in the top lane.
Misses the cannon, but no, that was really good acknowledgement of the level advantage and the ability to get the solo bolo there for the Malphite. Again, I mean, we saw him pretty far down early on, so this might get out of control. Weirdly enough, if that Malphite is able to back, get a Thorn Mail, come back to lane and just ignore Aatrox for the most part, this could be really good for the 29th.
Like Aatrox is trying to set up another nasty freeze. He's got about 4 or 5 minions up there, extra minions.
Yeah.
Dragon uncontested. Looks like Vi's now moving from the Grubs to the Gromp.
Yeah, you just see a trade of objectives. It's pretty typical in this meta right now that junglers just try and avoid whichever side of their map has prio is where they're going to go for the first objectives. And so we see them trading objectives there, and then also trading sides of the jungle by stealing Udyr's blue and Udyr stealing hers.
Could be the first big fight bot lane. Yeah, Cassiopeia has that level 6 advantage. TF could get ganked here and die again. Let's see. No, Vi's gonna show. Yep. They're collapsing on Udyr, looks like. Top lane also. Yikes. Big bad trade.
That is
The
really
Udyr flashes
unfortunate.
away.
The Vi, as I was talking about earlier, the Udyr was in that jungle. I'm not sure how, or he probably got off blue buff in order to try and help his bot lane when they were getting engaged on, and extended the amount of time it was taking him to do it, and then the 501st just collapsed on him. So now, again, Vi's going to be up on jungle CS there because she was able to take the Udyr's blue. Just all around pretty solid for 501st there. See Yubi possibly looking for kill here.
Oh my god.
That was insane. It was down to the last auto attack there, and Yubi flashed into the bush to get vision and gets the auto. Here we see that should be the kill for the Cassio. No, it doesn't. The poison. I thought the poison was going to kill, but it actually hit a health spot. Was able to live. You see the Vi coming in there, ulting the Rel to be able to secure the kill on the bot side. Man, I think things are just. Oh, I just see the Malphite possibly going in here. I don't think Yubi's going to be able to get away there. He has no flash, no R. One more Q from the Malphite should do it. Yep. We see Fi ganking mid.
TF.
Man, that's a valuable flash.
Yeah, it is.
Just being able to burn it that easily is not something you want to see. 'Cause now it
Absolutely
just
not.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Vi has both of these flashes secured a kill with them, so very well played on Sejuani's Flail's part. Really fortunate for the Malphite to just walk up and just get that kill he lucked out on moments ago. Yeah, Malphite is heavy on armor. Tabby's bot. Already has anti-heal. TF did buy the Dark Seal in a refillable pot. Looks like TF's going Rout of Ages. Same thing with Cassiopeia. Braum is topside.
Sorry, I was grabbing my food and back.
Yeah, it's a high priority grub for their team, getting all 6.
We see a lot of pings coming in here. I feel like the 501st is.
No flash on this
Again.
TF.
I don't think they know.
Oh
He's
man, he's so far up.
Yeah.
Ay, ay, ay. And they, not a single ult used to kill him.
Really good Cassio ulti here. An insane Rel ult. And we see already 2 down. Just to be able to get the Rel
Malphite
here.
ult.
Malphite ult on the backline. Rel get a shield. That was insane. That's a 4 for
Or
0.
dead.
A 4 for 0 and a 4v5. I mean, I guess it wasn't a 4v5 because Yubi was still top. It was a 4v4, but that was insane. The Cassio ult followed by the Rel ult on
Yeah,
all four of
yeah.
them. I think I would have gotten caught off guard as well. I think they assumed that with the pick going out on TF that they would just kind of fall back and give up the objective. But really good play from both Cassio and the Rel.
Yeah, absolutely. And then that Udyr AoE damage as well,
Oh,
as
yeah.
he has 2 components, so he's doing a good amount of damage. Yeah, great job from the 29th there to bounce back from that TF death. I think the Braum was just there for too long, and I think he just lost his sneak attack value there.
Yeah. Again, I think it was I mean, it's probably a confidence thing where after the kill, they just assumed that basically nothing could go wrong. And I think we see here that these Malphite traits are going so in favor of the Malphite that I think very soon, once he finishes that Storm Mail and the Sunfire Cape, it might get pretty bad for the Aatrox.
Yeah, he's stealing that movement speed, and he can just walk right out of that zone that Aatrox throws down, and avoid that 3rd Q damage.
Yeah, I don't think the Vi can. Yeah. Most of Vi's damage is actually front loaded on her Q, and so she can't really get in for a Q most of the time. There's not much kill pressure. I am curious. Oh, was he the Sylas using the TF ult here as the
I think our
client?
game is paused, or not paused, but yeah, frozen.
Are you seeing the same thing on your side?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I think we can give it a couple seconds, but we might just want to restart like last time.
I'm gonna push it to the intermission real quick, and we'll try and get this figured out and be back.
So some technical difficulties there. That was a nice play from Sylas. Unfortunately, it was kind of cut off. He steals the Malphite ult and just kills Malphite immediately with that ult. A couple kills traded on both sides. I think it was 6 and 7 just before technical difficulties. So an extra 2 kills to the blue side, 2 kills to the red side.
Philo for TP actually in here, so we might have a big fight.
TF way in the bot lane.
Rel with a really good ulti in the back lane, but I don't know if Casio can follow up with damage. He's trying to 1v1 the Kai'Sa right now. It's a really good flash from the Casio. She's doing a lot of damage.
Crazy kiting.
If she can make it to the Malphite, the Rel is trying to chase down the Kai'Sa here. She is able to get that, but I think she's going to fall down to the Sylas.
TF and Malphite are now in this. TF ult is up.
Yeah.
Maybe a pick on Vi here if he's quick enough. I think they're just gonna call it here and back out, yeah. Yeah, very well done. Sylas had just died, and the moment he's up, he's there in that fight.
Yeah, Casio played that, I think, really well.
Yes,
being able to
absolutely.
kite out all that damage and get back to the Malphite. But again, gold-wise, we are it's just neck and neck right now. We also are tied for Drakes, and so it could be anybody's game. But I think, as we mentioned before, with everything equal, I do prefer the 501st team comp. I think it's easier to play out. We'll see. Looks like the 29th are going to give this Drake up based on their position.
Sylas now has that Cassiopeia ult.
Yeah. It was unfortunate. Generally, I like to see, I mean, it was probably a last minute call, but if you're going to give up the Drake, being able to split a side lane, get a jungler maybe in there, and at least have some waves crash into a turret so you get some gold in the opposite side of the map. Good dodge out there from the TF. We see Vi hovering though.
This guy cannot catch a break.
So, to see, I don't think he's going to be able to survive this. No, Vi's going to still live. It was good for him to dodge out on the Sylas, but Sylas had Casio ulti in his pocket and was able to secure that. Braum heralding in the bot lane. Should be able to secure this. There's not a lot of... Casio's coming down here to defend tier 2.
But now that mid turret's gonna take a beating with Kai'Sa there. Looks like a fight onto Aatrox here. Malphite's a little far behind. Blue Smite. That is a lot of damage.
A lot of healing coming from the Aatrox too. He's gonna have to go on Meteor here if he can, but I don't know if he's gonna be able to. He's healing up. He's doing fine right now. Another stun into the R. Does finally take him down. As we see a double kill coming out here for...
Wow.
Right, it's actually one for the Rel. But I'm not sure how that play started at all. But again, TF and Rel taking down Sylas and Kai'Sa.
Probably a TF ult. Rel was in that red side jungle rotating to the bot lane. So maybe TF ults and Rel over Raptors. Fortunately, this might be the 7th death for TF. Looks like he'll sneak away.
Yeah, he's able to get away, but I don't think the Rel will be as...
Udyr's coming in.
Oh, we are... No, yeah, I think he's just
There's no red reinforcements here if they turn.
Oh, that was a really nice dodge on the bike too, but she still goes
Guys,
down.
clean with it. Really clean with it. Hopefully we'll get to see his Thresh next game.
I had a quick look at the previous time, and I found Aatrox was killed from a previous Udyr gank, but Malphite was really low, and Sylas had ran up there, and he immediately stole his ult and killed him with
it. Man, this TF, I don't know if if this was a game plan from the start, was just to pick on the TF as much as possible, but that seems like what they're doing right now. Every chance they get, they've basically been throwing everything on the TF. I do think that while those game plans are generally pretty good for the early game to get you some leads, I think if you go too far into that mindset of trying to pick off one champ and kind of put them behind, you risk actually letting the enemy team have a lot of their champs get back into the game. So I would like to see them just try and transition that into team fights now that they have the advantages, as opposed to throwing all their resources at TF.
And you know, all TF is a yellow card, so he's still gonna be impactful. This Kai'Sa, not the best KDA. Farm is still good, and Kraken is a very no-tilt player. And so the moment Kai'Sa gets a window, I do anticipate a big pop-off here.
Yeah, item-wise, we just saw Cassio finish her 3rd item. We see gold is, yeah, we see a 1.5k gold lead on the Cassio. Actually, almost a 600 gold lead for the Aatrox, and 400 now for the Sylas. So not too much on the Sylas, probably because of TF passive for the most part. But again,
that's a blue card, not the yellow card.
I don't think he's gonna be able to get away from here. Another W or another Q&E. He's able to secure that kill. And this is right before Dragon too, so this isn't a, I think this isn't a useless kill. You know, a plus 50 gold. It should be able to secure them the Drake afterwards. So I'm curious if the 29s are actually going to try and. It looks like they're posturing for this, so they might actually try and fight, get TF into the.
Aatrox is just going to stay top, just take this tower.
He does have TP, but it looks like they're playing for the fight.
Dragon's dead.
Here, Sylas with Malphite R. Need to be careful with that. I was
big time on Cassiopeia. Kai'Sa Vi.
You see, Udyr still tanking up the backline pretty effectively, but I think with Malphite and Rell, they're not going to have enough damage to do much. TF can TP into this fight, but I don't think he's just a little bit too late. If he was there about 5 seconds earlier, he might have been able to. I see, he doesn't even have his R. He had used it when he was getting tanked prior.
He'll die here. He'll.
Got a gold card on the wrong target. That is unfortunate. He's just not able to cut and break today. But a really good team fight, I think, from the Philo first. I mean, it was a 4v5 because we had Aatrox TPing in there, and Sylas with Malphite. I think that's just. It would be really difficult to outplay that. And so, again, I think next time they really need to try and make sure they have all 5 members, because I think next team fight, the big one, might be the last team fight we see, as it should be Soul or Baron being contested over for the next big team fight.
Yeah, I think the 29th do have a decent anti-dive comp with the Cassiopeia and Rell ults, but they're gonna need someone to body block these Malphite ults from the Sylas, with Vi and Kai'Sa just going straight in there, and Kai'Sa dying for it, but still putting out a lot of damage.
Oh, interesting Malphite ult use.
Yeah, if Sylas has an E up again here, he might be able to. Oh, he's just a little bit short on the E. Sylas is playing a little bit cocky here, to be
nice
honest.
stun. That's about 4 tower shots.
Yeah, he's gonna buy time for Otacon, but still, I think getting that shutdown goal down is probably not the play, because I think they could have gotten Otacon anyways.
We have a Malphite TP in here.
We do see a
Ults
TP.
half off cooldown.
Smite. He does get the smite as well.
Wow. Very nice.
Kai'Sa ulting into the back line here. He gets stunned
TF
out.
ults in the middle, dies immediately.
Cassio showing up late with the Rell, which means they're going to be able to it's getting targeted down right now by the Aatrox. Let's see if he's able to kite this out. Aatrox does get a kill on Cassio, but he's going to fall down here as they look at the Baron. They don't have a lot of damage for this, but I think that they should be able to get it. Sylas can TP and try and
steal Malphite ult.
Yeah. But again, a huge swing in gold right now for the 29th, and if they're able to secure this Baron, it's even worse. Again, on the backside of that Sylas going down in the bot lane.
TF's up, so he will get the buff as well. Cassiopeia will be just short of it. Yeah, the biggest player
is gonna have to Malphite ulti out of here. Actually, if he can, we see a TP coming in from Cassio, falling down again.
Burns the flash as well. Yeah, the biggest player at that Dragon Pit fight earlier was the Sylas, Malphite ulting the Cassiopeia, and he was not there for that fight. The only damage there was Aatrox, really, and Malphite is there to match him with all of his armor. He does take down Cassiopeia, but yeah, very well played. Very juicy swing back. We're getting some throwbacks to the free agent 94th games here. Great game so far.
Yeah, I think. I mean, the Sylas was really far ahead, so probably was feeling himself a little bit too much. Hopefully, those last 2 deaths have kind of made him a little bit more cautious about how he's gonna be positioning in the next couple of fights. I still think the 501st could win based on how easy their team comp is to play. But we see a huge swing in gold again, 3K up now for the 29th, and they're going to be able to secure this Drake. So yeah, need to make sure they're playing this careful. TF is able to spot out the Vi there.
Yeah, good vision on the Vi.
A little
just back up, man. The Kai'Sa right in. That is a Kai'Sa flashed.
Tier 2
TF,
and a
Kai'Sa
kill
did not flash.
is
TF flashed.
not something you want to give up there. I think it would have been easily, yeah, as you said, I think just not stepping up was all he had to do. Both his mid laners are just kind of...
It's just tricky for Udyr.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's going to get out here. He is very tanky.
A lot of CC, and these guys are fast. They can keep up with them.
Good stun. Dodge out on the E.
The Braum flash and a miss.
He's going to have to dodge the next... Oh,
it doesn't matter with Braum gone.
Here. Yeah, they're retreating here, assuming that he's running back to his team there. I think, again, some good dodging from the Udyr to be able to get out of that.
Still a tough situation to find yourself in.
Yeah, but overall, I mean, you see them engaging here on the Cassiopeia, flash Vyar. Malphite's able to try and peel with his bar. Cassio's in the thick of it though, as we see
big
Rel
combo.
TF barring in. They kill Aatrox, which again is there a lot of their damage in front line here.
Aatrox and the Braum.
The Kai'Sa has to flash away, but TF is fast. He's trying to catch over to the blast cone.
Looks like he's building that hand cannon now.
Be a mid-tier 2 going down, and possibly the Sylas as well. He's able to secure one. But again, I'm not sure if that's worth. I think they should be able to get an inhib here.
I think if you're 1-11 TF, you need to build that hand cannon second, maybe even first. But yeah, really good job from the Malphite to instantly ult that Vi, take some pressure off of the Cassiopeia, and then Rel is not far behind. The Cassiopeia saves her ult and her damage for the Rel to join the fight, and just another wombo combo, bringing down the Aatrox and the Braum. Really intense fights these games.
Yeah, and I actually like to play not to take the inhib. I think a lot of people take inhibs way too early, and just with those empowered creeps, they just push into the enemy's base and allow them to farm up and kind of turtle, which is a lot of times what they want to do. So I think not taking the inhib here is solid for them, and it should open up some lanes of attack for the 29th.
Yes, I agree. Let's see, should Malphite think about getting AP here? What do you guys think? Is he just all the way tank? Is that the move? Because he has a lot of gold.
I think he goes tank.
Yeah, I think that there's some... I'm not a Malphite player, to be honest, but I think that Malignance is sometimes built on Malphite as a kind of, like, as his 1 AP item before he goes tank. But honestly, at this point in the game, I feel like it's probably pretty, like, tank items are going to just be more effective on him than anything else. Plus, I think their team has enough damage. So.
Yeah, it's nice to see he's building a bit of MR, because this Aatrox is just going to out-trade him no matter what, with a Black Cleaver and Eclipse, with some MR himself, working on the Spirit Visage.
It is good. 501st all have Merc Treads here, which I think is correct to, like, pointing out the fact that the 29th only have magic damage coming out for them right now.
Yeah.
So, Merc Tread's really good, plus it's really good into all of the CC that the 29th have. So we should be getting a lot of value out of that. Hopefully we see some MR items coming out of the Vi as well. I would have liked to have seen a Mob Malmortius coming out from her, but we'll see if she's building that next. We have Dragon, Soul, Point for the 501st, and Baron coming up now.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, they didn't take that inhib, and both teams are just kind of farming away. And so if they had those super minions on the way, then red side would get much more gold out of this little ceasefire.
Yeah. With the 29th being ahead, it is going to be on them. Oh, we see TF ult coming out here. Might be looking for a pick on Aatrox. Or trying to secure vision. Oh, he's going on.
Here goes, right in.
I think they're just doing this to secure
Malphite
positioning on the dragon. I don't think they're actually going to try and kill. Blowing flash, I think that's good. They go on the Drake.
Like they're starting the Baron.
So I think Drake is more important, but I don't think you are in a position to lose both of these here. And I think they're going to lose the Baron. It might even lose. We see a double TP coming in. Malphite going in, trying to steal the Baron, barring nobody. Now we see Udyr flashing into the fight. They're trying to win the fight right now.
Yeah, on the Kai'Sa in the back line.
The damage is coming out for the 29th, though. They're doing a lot here. I feel the Aatrox now.
Aatrox joins late, though. He can deal a lot of damage here. He has a Spirit Visage.
Udyr picked up the last kill in the backside, but I think Aatrox is going to finish it off. As you said, the Aatrox hit that Q3 on, I think, 3 people and just did a massive amount of damage. So
yeah, they could have taken Dragon there and stalled that soul point, and they double teleport. Kai'Sa had a massive shield.
Yeah, I was just
from yeah,
I think the tunnel visioning on that Aatrox there kind of put them in a bad situation where there wasn't really any good options for them. They didn't want to give the Baron away for free, and they didn't just want to take the Dragon, so ended up the losing fight. I think taking the Dragon would have been the play, though. Honestly, now because now they get Baron and Soul Point for the 501st.
They had a ton of kills too, and also a you know, they got to show that Aatrox can survive that Cassiopeia damage with his healing, Spirit Visage, Merc Treads.
Yeah.
And then that third Q is just devastating. He joined the fight last, and very
really
healthy for it.
Really well played by UB to both survive the play from the 29th and then also come in late and clean up everything.
Yeah, Cassiopeia even saved her ult for the Aatrox, which means they're not getting that crazy AoE stun and wombo combo with the Rel and just getting massive damage. The Malphite still would have been cool to see. I think I saw 600 HP when he went in there.
See them going on Sublime and Cleovio. I think he's going to be able to go away, but Kraken is in the middle of it.
Wonderful Xayah
here on the backline.
Zhonya's
going on Cassio. See them taking out the Rel and the Cassiopeia. Really good ult from Kraken there, and Sylas getting on the backline so that he enabled the Kai'Sa to do that. We see them just run in 2 towers right now. Malphite is able to get on the back line.
He misses his ability. Still gets the kill. He's so tanky. He does let his team come in, but was it worth it? Their base is under huge duress now. Wonderful turret aggro bouncing, but Yubi's taking a lot of damage here. Can he heal through it? He has no damage.
I think with the death timers right now, there's a chance they can get the game. Cassio is going to be up right on time. I think if they go for the end, they're not going to. They're going to go for the safe play.
Yeah, I think Udyr's damage is still good. And with the Rel, I think these two, even right now, let's see.
Yeah, they're trying to chase him down here. They don't want to get away for free.
Kai'Sa is still up, though.
Let's see. Cassio's running into him right now. Aatrox lost his ult. So it looks like they're positioning to run away. Good Cassio ulti, but again, Kai'Sa has her ult back up.
Cassiopeia decimated.
Man, they probably didn't realize that they had all their ults back up in that last team fight, just because it had been so long. But I think this is the game here for the 501st as they push down these towers. And Malphite does its best to try and do some damage to them.
Yeah, unfortunately, Vi is just not the person to take out. I mean, her impact on these team fights, she can hold the Cassiopeia still for a couple seconds, but it's going to be this Aatrox and Kai'Sa, Sylas as well.
Yeah. Again, I think the 29th there played really well. They just needed to, again, on that one dragon play where they tunnel visioned on the Aatrox. I think if they would have played that macro a little bit better, they would have secured that win. So at least in this next game, they have something I think to look forward to. In that, if they play just like they did just now, I think they'll be good. But
yeah, just a quick look at the charts. Udyr coming in at 52,000 damage, shortly followed by Aatrox with a 51. Third place is going to be 39 to the Sylas. And yeah, Udyr and Aatrox.
Yeah,
the damage carriers of that game. Cassiopeia, interestingly, coming in behind the Malphite. Actually, I'm not sure if this is right. I'm not sure. Maybe because we joined the game like in the middle.
Interesting.
But
it said damage for Cassiopeia was less than Malphite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Malphite has 36,000. Cassiopeia at 22. There's no way this is right. Cassiopeia did more damage than the TF, right? It says here they're like tied. So there's no way this is right. But
I mean, maybe not. There's a possibility the Cassiopeia was only doing damage during the team fights. I think the Cassio was playing the team fights really well, but either way, again, I think the early game advantages that were able to be had from the 501st on that Sylas, or through the Sylas and the Vi, just pressuring TF over and over again, I think was huge for them in being able to stack those early Drakes. And then the 29th, I think, just had a couple of really great team fights where they just got everything that they wanted. And were outplaying, I think, the 501st really well. But then, again, we see the macro coming out from the 501st late game where, again, Yubi had a really good play, kited them out on the Dragon side, and then was able to have his team start Baron and then able to clean up the fight afterwards, too. So, I think both teams have positives to look at from this first game, and also some things where they can probably both look to try and clean up. So, I'm curious to see how the next game plays out.
Yep, I hope this mid laner maybe has a little bit of fear in his heart that coming into this next game, and let's see if he's gonna get bullied around this time on a fresh, clean slate. Let's see what he can do with a brand new start. So I know there's a break between these games. Maybe the players have already started that because I mean our game ended later, obviously.
Yeah, I think we'll probably have roughly around a 10-minute intermission. That's about what the players are given, but it might be cut a little bit short. But all things, most likely case, we'll probably be back in about 10 minutes. So about 7:24 Eastern time, we should be back to start with draft for the next game. And with that, we'll see you guys in a bit. All right, welcome back, everybody. We're a little bit early, about 5 minutes early, but again, as we ran into that spectator bug last time, we had to start it off a little bit early because they were out of game before we were. But yeah, now we're into game 2 of this soft fearless draft. So again, we saw, I think, last game's bans now, maybe kind of showcasing what a lot of the prio is going to be on this game.
Yep. I have no clue what they're going to ban this game. Maybe some bans towards Yumi in the top lane, maybe some ADC bans towards Kraken in the bot lane. We could see a Sejuani ban.
Right, we didn't see a Sejuani ban in the first game, so they could throw that out. But you're right, they're banning 80 carries here, side of the 501st.
Yep, taking Caitlyn away from Dizzy Dios, however you say that name.
Yeah. But yeah, Soraka and Thresh. I mean, I'm assuming they're just going to handshake that, and both supports are going to be able to pick their main champions. I think if it's the case, I want to say that it's a fine matchup for Thresh. I mean, he's not really trying to harass Soraka, which is what she's good into. He's really just trying to play for the all-in engage after he lands his hook. So I don't know what that matchup is, but I have a feeling that Thresh is probably going to be fine with Soraka. We do see the Amuma ban likely coming out here, and a Vlad ban as well coming out from the Black Knights.
I think as far as laning goes, Soraka is good into Thresh if you just respect Thresh's abilities. The trades are going to definitely favor the Soraka's side, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But come mid, late game, and even early game Dragon contests, the Thresh is going to be much more impactful. And in the right hands, Thresh can do a lot of different things. But yeah, we see a Jhin taken away from Kraken. He has performed quite well as Jhin in this tournament.
Yeah, this is
and
a
then
lot
Jinx
of
is
80
yes, it
carries
is.
getting pushed
Yeah.
out, and I mean, they're not going to have their first 80 carries as well, the ones they played last game, because it's Fearless. So I think they're going to be. We might see some peculiar 80 carries coming out here. Some tier 2, especially if this last ban is also aimed at 80 carry.
So they're taking away the Jinx. Jinx is really strong right now, not too difficult to play if you are not like an ADC player per se. I don't know, maybe like a Corki pick from Kraken. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm not. Let's see.
I do think Corki's really good right now.
Corki or maybe Ezreal. And
it was
the Black Knight missed a ban, but that is supposed to be a Karma ban.
Yep. As we see, again, as predicted, both supports going right to their priority picks, Thresh and the Soraka.
I'd be a little scared playing Soraka into someone that is a Thresh one trick.
Yeah.
Curious what they're going to pair up with this. Yeah, typically Thresh goes really well with a immobile carry, someone like Jinx, who he can kind of provide that mobility to with his Lantern. But he also doesn't do bad. So I mean, Varus is still open. I think Varus is a really good pick here. Good into Soraka, good with Thresh.
Yeah, Tristana is also a good pick here for those all-ins. Again, it is hard to all-in a Soraka. Soraka is just hard to deal with in general.
Yeah. We do see the Yorick coming out here. I don't know if it's a top or a jungle, as Yorick is just really strong in both roles right now.
Yep.
and I think the five or the 29th play both. I think they both can play Yorick. So a good flex pick, I think, here, and saving their AD carry and other picks for later as we see Smolder coming out.
Is Nakmal playing for the 501st today?
I do not think so. There aren't that many Smolder players though in our league. I don't think I've seen many, but
I think Kraken actually has played Smolder a little bit. I think scouting him, I've seen a couple games of that. I'm gonna hold my tongue though. This could be a mid pick. I'm not sure. A Nocturne, I love to see a Nocturne.
That is interesting.
Amazing champion.
The 501st team comp right now, I don't think really it's not saying anything to me really hard right now.
Yeah.
So I think they're gonna need something to back up those champs. If they get some decent frontline or some bruisers, I think with their comp, they'll be really good. But as it stands right now, I think it's a little bit strange to me as we see the Irelia coming out, which is also the counter into Yorick, so possibly trying to take that away.
I think this is an Irelia bot lane.
Really?
Call me crazy, but I think so. Dizzy Dios is an Irelia player, and they have him in the bot lane currently. Maybe this is going to Stupid Game up top, but we shall see. Maybe they were just joking around a little bit in the little group chat, but yeah, they did mention Irelia bot lane. So the thing with a Smolder Soraka is Smolder is going to be really weak early, right? And Soraka might be the perfect support to kind of baby Smolder through that lane. So I do see a little bit of synergy there. And then Nocturne can fit into most teams. But yeah, these next two picks are going to be very important for the 501st, as you mentioned.
Yeah, I think they're just going to need to have some front line and then also some scaling. I think Ornn is a great pick for the 501st and likely why the Black Knights banded out there, as I think that would provide them with a majority of what they want. Trundle also, I think the 501st is acknowledging that a lot of the Black Knights team comp right now is, I mean, both Irelia and Yorick can split push, and I think they just don't want any more of that, so they're banning out the Trundle, and then the Galio as well to avoid kind of Galio works really well, I think, with split push because he can react really well to those side lanes.
And following the Nocturne as well.
Exactly.
Galio Gwen is played by UB. I'm not sure if Ornn is played, but I know Gwen for sure. It's a Diana mid. I think, yeah, this is one of Braxy, the mid laner. He's played this in this tournament before, and I think he did fairly good on it. I think he just wants a little more power in his hands.
Yeah,
I think he wants a little to be in the driver's seat.
Yeah, this is really interesting team comp coming out right now. I mean, they have 3 melees right now, so again, anti-melee champs would be really great for the 501st if they have anything. But again, I mean, Diana could be jungle, could be mid lane. Irelia could be top, could be mid. Yorick could be top, could be jungle.
I think this is a Yorick top because Creed fan, I just can't imagine him playing a Yorick jungle. It just doesn't seem like something he'd do.
Vex really good into Irelia with the amount of dashes that she has, so maybe that Vex is just going to try and follow around the Irelia. But
yeah, not terrible into the Diana either.
And then an Alawi. Interesting. So talking about what they needed with their team comp, I am now, I guess, more worried for them than I was before, because I don't think Vex is going to provide a lot of frontline for them. Nocturne can ulti in and Vex can follow, but I think it's going to be very difficult for Smolder and Soraka to play the way they want to without a frontline in there. And then Alawi is just going to be split pushing on the side, so
So Stupid Game and Creed Fan play Volibear. It's hard to tell. I mean, we'll find out soon, but no, yeah, I think I agree with you. These bottom two picks were very important for the 501st, and I think they want to see a third game. I think that's what they're trying to communicate with this draft is they want to see a third game
Yeah, and this is
against the 29th.
I think I mean, you were right about the Irelia pick, most likely, in that it's a 80 carry Irelia. Uh, Volibear, either top or jungle, and then Yorick either top or jungle, and then Diana. Wait, no.
And if there's
Not,
something that can kill a Soraka with a Thresh Q, it's gonna be that Irelia with a stun to follow up after that flay. And if she has her stacks, she can do a lot of damage. But the thing is, whenever you are not playing an ADC or an APC in the bot lane, you're very under leveled. And these champions are balanced and geared, itemized all towards being solo laned in the top and mid lane and being over leveled. So it's going to be really awkward for Irelia. She's going to have to realize she's not as strong as she usually is because she's going to have to share that XP with the Thresh.
yeah,
That's one thing I've noticed when I try and mix it up in the bot lane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. I think that you can kind of avoid it by having the Thresh roam a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, you're still not going to be at full power as a bot lane bruiser, just because you're not going to have that experience. And again, like you said, a lot of their damage comes from their base numbers, their base values of getting levels. So, but yeah, I mean, with that, again, 4 bruisers here, 4 melee champs. It's going to be an interesting game to watch for sure. Smolder has, the potential to get an insane amount of stacks if the 501st get ahead, but also could just be bullied really hard if the Black Knights get ahead. And so, yeah, it's going to be an interesting game to watch.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a bloodbath. I think some of the champions on the Black Knights are a little slow, so there is a good amount of like poke potential and diving in on some out of place, like an out of place Diana or an out of place Yorick. This Vex can get in there, Nocturne can get in there as well. Yeah, I'm gonna have to wait and see on this one. This is a funky lineup. I think these are all veteran FM, or most of them are veteran FMC players. They all know each other. They're all friends, and looks like they're just trying to have some fun this game.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see the Smolder and the Alawi. I think are two of. Again, I think if those two champs get ahead, there's a possibility for it to get out of hand. And then on the Black Knight side, I'm really curious to see how that Aurelia plays the bot lane out, see if she gets any advantages or not. But yeah, which team comp you think you'd put your money on if you were Gamble Man?
Honestly, I think the Black Knights. I can just see a lot of solo kills coming in. What about you, Fowler? What do you think?
I have to agree. Just looking at the engage tools, I mean, Thresh, Hook, the Aurelia ult, Diana closing the gap ulting, Volibear ulting on you.
Yeah.
They can really jump, literally just run right at the 501st, and they don't really have much engage other than the Nocturnal, which is powerful, but that's it.
Yeah, the Illowai is there to match the split push. But yeah, I mean, all 4 of those champions are formidable split pushers. So as we see the champions selected, it is a Volibear top lane, Yorick jungle, Diana mid, and Irelia ADC. So I was mistaken. Creed Fan is willing to play the Yorick jungle. Maybe he saw it in the game last night against the 34th.
It is really strong. It has some insane skirmish potential, and I think one of the things is Yorick with the move speed and the slow on his E can kind of just run anybody down in the jungle, and so.
Yep.
But I think Nocturne is okay into it. Nocturne doesn't really want to fight too much anyways. Nocturne's just trying to power farm and then play for team fights, so I don't think it should be too bad for the Nocturne. But Yorick is very strong.
Yeah, Yorick has been represented in all 3 playoff rounds thus far. A very strong champion at the moment.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that, you guys got anything else on draft?
Nothing now.
No? Okay. Then I'm going to throw it over to intermission really quick, and then we'll be back in the game probably in about 2 or 3 minutes. So see you guys in a second.
Hello and welcome back. We have got both teams positioning around the middle of the map.
Yep. One thing that's going to be interesting are these Volibear Illaoi trades. We'll see how that goes. I feel like that's a super uncommon matchup, and maybe both of these top laners are going to be kind of figuring it out as they go. Deep ward on the Raptors, and Yorick was unable to use his Oracle Lens to clear that out.
Yeah, it was a good idea, but he used it too soon.
Yep. So neither mid laner's pushing. I think maybe Braxi's learned his lesson pushing in that first wave. Some more beat the 34th banter in the all chat.
Let's see.
Yeah, as the chat mentioned earlier, these are comfort picks, especially top lane with the Volibear on Stupid Game. A good little trade. Equal damage.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because Diana does a lot of damage, but obviously dashes are what feeds Vex's passive, so...
Yeah, it's going to be really hard to dodge those abilities too if you're right in Vex's face or the minions. They do spot the Yorick, and Nocturne is moving up. They spot the Yorick from that Raptor's wards. Nocturne is now... That blue buff is warded by the red side though. And it just died. Thresh is already rotating up. The buff is dead. Looks like they did not see him kill it. A very sneaky steal, very well done. And that's got to be frustrating because they did ward that, trying to prevent something like that, but the ward, I guess, just wasn't in range.
Ooh, just a lot of damage in the mid lane.
Yep, but looks like Vex is coming out on top with Diana losing mana. Yeah, looks like they're pinging Volibear. To look out for that Nocturne gank. This Irelia bot lane. Let's see, let's look at the CS. CS is pretty even bot.
Oh, Yorick is jumping in. Nice catch, flash on the Vex.
Nice first blood. Yeah, unfortunately that flash was not gonna save his life.
They did trade it though, so Diana is down a flash as well.
Yep. And a Vex TPing right in. Yorick has a level advantage despite losing his blue buff. He did take the crab and maybe a little bit of XP from that kill and whatever minions died mid lane. Yeah, this is a heavy farm game as he goes towards his Krugs.
Interesting for the bot lane. Looking at CS, the Irelia has about 10 CS over the Smolder right now.
Yes, I think the Smolder reset earlier. I could be wrong about that. But yeah, their Smolder and Soraka are just under tower pretty much. Good dodge on the Fear from the Diana. The shield absorbs all the damage outside of the Electrocute. Nocturne is top lane, they know about it. Stopping the recall, nice. See, one of these mid laners is going to hit 6 soon. Yubi freezing again. It's his favorite thing in the world, is freezing top lane. And the Vex hits 6 before the Diana, despite dying.
Yeah, they have more CS than the Diana.
Beautiful level 6 timer from the Volibear. This is gonna hurt though. He has to walk out of that. Or not. Some extra minion damage. He's gonna hit level 6 here if she can kill some of those. Yeah, she should have kept that fight going and killed a couple minions, and her flash is down though.
Oh. Bottom lane had to back again, which is unfortunate for the Smolder, who's still behind.
Yeah, they're really respecting that damage potential. Irelia now has a cloth armor, and that will help a little bit from any free poke she takes. But, you know, I think this is how you play bot lane.
There's the annoyance of Yorick.
Yeah.
He's jungling and warding them off at the same time.
Oh, and an early smite. I guess it was worth the shot. A lot of assists going out though. And if Irelia had gotten that kill, it would have been real bad. Because that is exactly what this bot lane's trying to prevent, is giving that an Irelia a kill. Looks like Volibear wants to set up his own freeze here. It is warded, he's gonna stop that back. I don't think he wins this fight. Unless he baits the ult. Oh, man.
Ooh.
Yeah, he does not win that.
A little too greedy.
Yeah, very well played from Yubi. Just controlling the wave really well. Obviously indicated by the CS differential. And then holding that ult. Earlier I said maybe get that level 6 early or as soon as possible and smash that ult button. But no, Yubi wanted to keep the minions alive. And finally an engage on Smolder. Stun into the Thresh hook. Already flayed. Irelia flash. The healing is too much. Yeah. Yeah, Ignite flash down from the Irelia. Very well played, and he is almost full health.
Now they did get both Exhaust, Barrier, and the Flash on blue side.
Yep.
It's interesting the Thresh went Exhaust there. If they had Ignite, I think they would have got the kill.
Yep, potentially. I think, yeah, Exhaust is a really strong spell. There's not too many exhaustible targets, you know, the Smolder and the Nocturne, I guess, but...
Yeah, but I mean, the Smolder, they're not exactly get in your face kind of champion. They can poke from a pretty good distance.
Yeah. Oh, and a missed ult by the Irelia. Good bit of poke here on top lane. You seriously need to punish people for taking those plates from you. Unfortunately, that does push the wave a bit far. And Yorick is not going to help kill that Illaoi. Really hard to gank in Illaoi top lane because she will just ult and the AoE damage is massive. And he can't walk up and hit these minions because she'll just...
Do that.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, they've got about a 25 CS lead over the bully now.
And which is... It's not the worst thing in the world. It's hard to beat an Illaoi in lane, but you cannot give her kills on top of that. And unfortunately, he did get out-traded. This is... Thank you, Directed Camera, for showing him try to get these 3 ranged minions. Very slow game.
Yorick's in the bottom lane behind blue tower.
Yeah, looks like they're going Krug for Krug. Smolder's barrier is up soon. Soraka ult is up. This is going to be hard to dive those guys. Yeah, he's now moving out.
Right. We still good?
Yeah.
I'm back.
Yeah, but slower game, good rotations. Just as a synopsis real quick. Slower game, good rotations from the 29th side. The Irelia Thresh is doing really good into the Smolder Soraka thus far. UB is out trading Stupid Game in the top lane and did get a kill from him, so there is a sizable lead in the top lane. He even died to that Nocturne gank, Nocturne Vex gank. But Ravages of the Volibear, Black Cleaver, and here we go again.
2v1 and they do not care.
I mean, every time Irelia does that, the Smolder will get stacks, but...
Yeah, and unfortunately it's just going to get healed by the Soraka on top of that. It looks like they reset though. Yeah, a lot of resets on the spot lane thus far.
That's unfortunate because that's a very easy grubs they're giving up.
Yeah, looking at gold right now, Illaoi up almost 1,000 gold herself, but everywhere else we see large gold advantages for the 29th. So it's basically only this Volibear right now that's down. And it looks like it's not getting him much better. He's just trying to farm with his E, but he's gonna miss his cannon. He missed, I think, 5 out of the 6 minions from the last wave.
Yep, and unfortunately, he did almost kill Illaoi early in the game, but just she flashed away. He did not have the damage, and she regen just a little bit, ulted him, and killed him after a wave or 2 after that, and now he is very behind in that lane. And she, I mean, just looking at this, she's probably going to be unstoppable all game.
Yeah.
Still a great job from the bot lane to farm as much as they have, despite being mostly under tower.
Freezing right now. That's yeah, Nocturne ult into the Vex ult, a lot of damage, and the kill goes over to Kraken as well on the Smolder. That's a huge shutdown that you do not want on Smolder. That was just a really, really well coordinated ult from both the Vex and the Nocturne there. Yeah, I didn't think they were going to have enough damage, but the Smolder roaming over too, securing the last bit.
Yep, it was a
No Creed flashing here.
flash.
Oh, it's unfortunate. I think if he hit his E, there was possibly an angle, but I still think. I mean, if the Vex
Yorick
feared,
Vex's flash is up.
yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe he saw something I didn't, but.
Yeah, I was gonna say before that happened, the dive on the Diana was a bit risky with Yorick right around the corner. Diana pulls them into the tower. Maybe Yorick flash and cages them or slows them at the very least. But still very well executed using their synergy with those long-range dives, and then the Smolder with his Hail Mary poke there.
Yeah, looking here at gold again. Still gold advantages across the board for the 29, except for their top lane. But we see the gold advantage now for Irelia is only down to 200 gold. So, and they're taking some objective here, which is going to help Illaoi split push even harder. Or let them crack open the mid lane, 1 to 2. Looks like the 29th are just giving this up.
Yep, using the pressure from that Illaoi that's so strong right now, and even having the ADC roam top. That bot tower is gone, though.
Wait, do you pronounce Illaoi Illaoi? Is that a thing?
I just try not to think about it.
Oh, okay. That's the first time I ever heard that, and I was like, there's a lot of chants that I don't know how, like, I don't know how they're actually pronounced.
Yeah.
Until, you know, like, I think there was just a thing, because 2XKO is just coming out, and I think they said how you pronounce Illaoi's name, but I don't know if it's Illaoi or Illaoi, but...
I think once you stop touching grass, you'll figure out how to pronounce that champion's name.
Probably. That's what I should do.
I do notice Cassiopeia, not Cassiopeia.
Okay, that's important. We have a little lull here. We see
Works on the Drake again.
Yeah, Irelia going in here, a good hook on the Smolder, but he just gets healed from the Soraka. We see Nocturne going in as a counter engage on the Irelia. Vex with her ultimate, but they do take down the Irelia there. A little bit just too aggressive, not expecting the heals coming out from the Soraka there. As we see, Yorick is able to secure the Drake, but I thought Nocturne was going to go down there, but he actually survived with all the heals again from the Soraka. Almost at half health now again. Will he be able to catch a good flash from the Thresh there?
Wow.
But that is a huge swing in gold and Cryo over from the 29th to the 501st. As we see, there's already bounties now on them. Look at gold. It's only up about 1k gold, but still, I think with this team comp, they really don't want to be behind against the Smolder.
It looked like the Thresh was a little slow using his ult, because I think it didn't even hit the Smolder.
Yeah, I think that, they only needed a little bit more damage, so maybe that ult coming in would have been all they needed to secure the kill on the Smolder.
Still no anti-heal on the side of the 29th. That's one thing that an ADC can pick up early, and it's not too big of a deal. It's not too big of a detour. But I guess Irelia, just needs to... It's very item dependent whenever they're going to be down levels. They do have the Ignite, which is a tiny bit of anti-heal, but right now the Soraka is just dominating the game with no anti-heal to match her.
Yeah, look at Smolder's at 139 stacks, so it's getting closer to his, I think it's 225, right? 225 for the execute, so he's about halfway there. We see about a 60 CS lead in the top lane now. The gold lead hasn't really expanded, still only 1k up for the Alawi. So the Volibear is hanging in there. I will say though, let's see, they're the, now I don't know. Red side is the 501st, correct?
Red side is the 29th.
29th. 29th does have 3 Drakes stacked up right now, so they should, there should be a big fight coming in at the next Drake, and I don't think Smolder's going to be online for that. He's not going to have his passive stacks at 225, so that could be a team fight that they're successful in, get the soul, and then kind of snowball the game from there.
Yes, if they can keep LOI top. But once she joins these
Oh my
fights,
lord.
change.
They're starting Atacon.
We see the flash coming out from Yorick defensively. The Vex goes in all by herself. Not sure if that was a play.
Very well done. Yorick is the only one with the anti-heal right now, so they shouldn't be hitting anyone.
Volibear is trying to stop Alawi from being able to go to the team fight. He might even be trying to give up his own life to do it.
Good vision.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good play. Volibear knows what his role is right now, is just to be annoying for the Alawi. And they
take the respawn Atacon.
Yeah, and they're going to take down this Rift Herald too. I mean, could have been used up top lane for the Alawi to be able to split.
Did Nocturne take that Rift Herald, or was it?
I believe it was Nocturne.
Okay, I thought it was on Alawi this whole time.
But the GA is generally pretty good for opening towers and kind of pushing down, but it's really bad because this dragon's about to be up and they're going to have GAs for that fight. So it's going to be really scary to try and contest this soul. Yeah, really going in again. Not sure. Maybe the Nocturne ulti's here. Good Thresh Lantern. He's actually able to catch the Nocturne under the tower. Soraka looks like she's going to go down too. I don't think she's going to be able to outrun this. Yeah.
Very nice bait. That's 2 big baits in a row. Can he stop the back?
Yeah, I think
looks like
I know.
Man.
Wow.
Ooh.
He had to have hit a
Unfortunate
crit
timing
there.
from UB.
That was a ton of damage real quick.
Yeah, he does have that Zeal. A very small bit of crit. Does Zeal even still give crit? Yes, 15%.
That's the tower, the Otacon, the Dragon Soul. Smolder's the only. I mean, Alawi is still pretty big, but I think this game is kind of getting out of hand right now. As we see,
Well,
about
without
a
that
3K
tier 1
gold
tower, those top minions are just going to keep flooding blue side without that tier 1 tower to shoot them down. And so it does take a bit of pressure out of Illaoi's hands. He's also much more vulnerable to ganks now. And then we do see the Thorn Mail, the Brambles Vest on the Volibear. I still think he's going to lose these trades.
Yorick went Mortal Reminder to deal with the anti-heal.
Yep, very good. We see the Hullbreaker on Irelia, second item.
Yeah, the new Hullbreaker is it's very different from the old Hullbreaker, where I would say
Okay.
generally it would be built on split pushing tanks, or like people like Scion would build it a set. But now that it procs on every 5th auto against the champion. It generally is, it's wanted, like it's a good item on champions who can hit a lot, people who want more, and kind of have a lot of attack speed. So I think it's a decent pickup. The passive probably won't get used too much because she's not going to be, I think, by herself around minions. But so I think the item gives her a little bit of tankiness. Again, has that damage on auto attacks that she needs.
Yeah, I didn't realize they had changed that item, but yeah, that does use high attack speed now. Diana moves bot to match the mid laner, but they could have threatened a Baron, or at least baited a Baron there. Maybe not the best play, because then Vex can just push that tier 2, but...
Yeah, I mean, again, a very similar game state where I would see an Nocturne ulti coming in. So really, it does go down here. DJs are off, but these are real kills. The Nocturne now goes down.
Here comes Volibear. Smolder has been untouched so far.
We do see Alawi on the back line, and she might be able to win this.
A little bit of anti-heal on the Volibear.
A lot of damage.
Yeah, this is Volibear's power spike right now. Those 2 items make him really strong.
Yeah.
It's not until everyone does a little bit more damage and his tankiness kind of falls off does he himself fall off. But yeah, he's 10 stacks on the Route of Ages. He's got his attack speed, crit, AP, health, armor, anti-heal.
Yeah.
He really won that fight.
Yeah, I think it's just, I mean, overall, the Volibear has just been playing this game, I think, really well. Obviously, he went down in lane, but I think being able to acknowledge that he was one of the enemy team's win cons and not giving Alawi too much of advantage, even though he was going down 60 plus CS. And then now to take that, to come back and to be able to carry his team in a team fight, I think insane play from the Volibear, and really, I think, calculated risk that he's taking, which is really good. Yeah, and his first death, you know, it was an accident, but he was doing good not dying up until that point. And then we saw a Diana Vex gank, or a Diana gank to kill the Alawi. And that kind of gave him a little bit of tempo. He did die as well, though. And then, yeah, I think Yubi just stayed a little bit too long. And just barely died before that first hit of her ultimate lands, and she gets a massive heal. And now he is in this game. Yep. See 3 items on Yorick. 3 items now with Zen built on Irelia.
And this is a level 15 Irelia versus the 13 Smolders.
Diana going in, now 1v2. The Nocturne being able to ult in. I think she's just going to go down here. A shutdown going down. But Irelia is able to counter engage. A really good E and R.
Baraka ult comes out.
So Irelia is able to take down the Vex and the Yorick, and the Thresh should be able to just run down this Nocturne.
Ooh.
Maybe not. That was a good spell shield.
Oh, the old switcheroo.
Oh.
Oh no, he's still gonna run north, but his team was south to catch him with no red players.
This might be even worse,
Yorick,
actually.
Yeah. Yorick pushing that tier 2. Volibear teleports in.
No.
Nocturne does get out. He
the real
leaves Smolder for dead.
No, they're not.
No, they're not even gonna
Really
chase.
going for Smolder.
Oh my goodness, that is a
They have
big...
to know he's there. He literally can't go anywhere.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess Elder Drake's up.
Elder beforehand, but they're not even going Elder right now. As they go on to Yubi, this could be bad if Yubi's able to heal up a little bit. But they do take him down. It's really important to take him down early in the team fight. We see 2 going down now. Yorick and the Nocturne, so they can secure Elder without having to do a smite fight, which is really important. They gotta make sure not to take too much damage here. The The
Yeah,
Smolder
here it
is
comes.
online. Started
Two
two
dead.
going down. The Smolder's probably going to get
Here
the third here.
soon. Almost the fourth.
Yeah, they were just
They have to stop that dragon.
miscommunication there. The Volibear was doing the Elder Drake while they went in that fight there. I think that that Yorick just didn't know that Smolder had that much damage, or Vex.
Yep.
But they might be able to get this tier 2 here.
Yeah, I was just about to say that these two could stop the dragon or threaten to stop, but I did not think they would completely ruin the 29th's chances of getting that dragon. I did not think it would happen that fast.
There we see Smolder with 262 stacks, so now just over his power spike. I think it's going to get a lot more difficult to play into him. The gold lead is still on their side, and they still have this Dragon Soul, so I think they should win out as long as they play as a team. But I think, again, the miscommunication there is really what hurt them. I don't think they wanted to go in.
Some tough mistakes there with the miscommunication under the tower, and then also letting that Smolder just recall right behind them, and the Nocturne getting away even. But let's see what happens here. LOI is top, her TP is up. They're starting the Drake. They're doing a lot of damage to it. TP right in front.
This is going to be a team fight. As we see them
Dragon
trying
about 60% health.
Yeah, they don't have vision right now. 6K.
They're blinded. They're really good positioning for the 29th. The Vex gets in.
Get a good 3-man ult there into the Volibear.
Minus the volleyball dunk squad. What's happening? A lot of things.
Yeah, Smolder is still untouched that whole time. That's rough. I think Braxy had a really good ult on the back line, but again, I think even in the beginning of the fight, the Nocturne ult just cut out the vision, and they funneled into a bush that Smolder was able to just hit his Q and all of his splash damage on everybody, and it just, I think, chunked people out way too hard that fight. And this is a likely game as well. If they push for it, it's going to be close, but they should be able to in the game if they play for it. 10 seconds.
Diana and Fresh up. 6 seconds.
Yeah,
that is
like this is going to be
heartbreaking.
And that is GG. Let me go over to draft. Yeah, so the 501st taking that, I was just surprising. I think more than anything else, it played really well around that Smolder spike, and the Vex was just doing more damage than I thought I was expecting her to do in a lot of those fights. With that many bruisers, I didn't. I expected her to pretty much just tickle the team, but she was doing a ton of damage. The Nocturne ult was really good to get the team kind of to funnel it then into a place where Smolder could just dish out tons of damage. Yeah, it was really well played. Again, everything was stacked against them. They already had the soul on the side of the Black Knights. They were up 3k gold when they even went into that team fight. So really well executed team fight that secures them the win, and the spot at playing against the 34th Ducks in the finals.
Yep. Congratulations to the 501st. Yeah, it looks like Vex ended the game with a Liandry's Torment and a Rift Maker, and then a Rod of Ages. So really favoring longer fights, which is exactly what you want against the Volibear and Irelia. And yeah, just that last fight, the Illinois teleports in, and that you should be able to like capitalize on a player kind of teleporting right into you. But the Nocturne blindness, gave him a huge advantage in that fight. And Yeah, it was a really swift end, but that was still a very entertaining game to watch. Yeah, great performance from all 10 players that game.
Yeah, I mean, I still think Volibear is probably the MVP of this game. The way he played that game was really good, and I think he did a really good job, kind of understanding where his champ was needed and what he needed to do. But I mean, even across the board, yeah, really interesting game. Having the Aurelia 80 carry, showcasing how good he is on that champion. A lot of good engages and good plays made by the Aurelia. The Yorick jungle was just consistently getting advantages both in CS and in getting those three, all four early Drakes. So I played really well in the Black Knights. Again, it's a similar story to the first game, unfortunately, where I think everything was going right until it wasn't. The first game, it was the Baron play that they were able to secure, and then this time it was the Elder Dragon play. So again, if I were first, just I think clutching it out over the Knights, but I don't think it was a crush in either of these games. I think it was a pretty close game and kind of a nail biter for both teams.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, the Volibear power spike. Go ahead.
So I was gonna say I do like the Black Knights team a lot, but a big issue if you look at the kills, right? The Aurelia only has 1 kill, whereas the Thresh, the support, has 5 of the kills. So unfortunately, a lot of the gold went the wrong champion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, if I really
Only that, if that was a 6-kill Aurelia, that would have been a lot more dangerous.
Yeah. That's what, I mean, a lot of those plays, I think the Soraka was doing, I mean, again, I really had really good engages, but then the Soraka would just heal up through it all, and it really was, I think, difficult for her to get out of hand. But we still saw a couple times where she baited them into like the team fight mid lane, where she got her team pretty far ahead. And so, again, really good. But again, I mean, it's well executed, I think, from the 501st. I don't like their team comp, but the way they played it was really good. Again, I mean, having the Illaoi TP in, I do think she's one of the champs you don't want to focus when they TP in.
Right.
Because you're kind of playing into her champ exactly how you want to, and then to turn off the lights, to get the Vex to ulti into the backline, and then just have Smolder. Basically, I think I think the Black Knights forgot about that champ being there and didn't even really do too much to take out Smolder just because of everything else that was going on. So really well executed from the 501st on champs that I haven't even seen them really play too much either. So kind of, something we only see because of Fearless, which is something I really enjoy.
Yeah, and still very limited anti-heal on the 29th, so unless Yorick hits that Smolder or Smolder attacks Volibear, the Soraka's just going to pump healing into him. Even if they do get that crazy Diana dive, followed up by an Irelia. But yeah, very well executed by the 501st for making that seemingly wonky team comp work with those Nocturne Vex ults onto just anyone they could to squeeze out some kills, and then Smolder being right behind to cash in the gold on those shutdowns. Yeah, very impressive.
That was good. Well, all right. Bluestone, is there anybody? Do you have the ability to pull someone in here for interview?
I don't think I do, unfortunately. But I know people in the chat asked for Yubi.
Okay.
Yep, here he is.
I got dragged in. I'm here.
How is it going? Well, first off, how do you pronounce the champion that you were just playing's name?
Illaoi.
Okay, thank you.
And it's like Aoi after ill.
Yeah, just wanted to clarify for all of the people who had to sit through and suffer through Goodwin saying that the entire time. But anyways, all right. Yeah. How's it going? How's it feel taking the dub on that these last 2 games?
It's pretty good. 29th has been a rival team of ours for a while. At least like in our perceptions from like last play. I know it wasn't unit based, but the player in general had a general rivalry with the players from their side. They have really, really good players overall. DZ, although his second game wasn't too representative of that, he's a really, really good player, and we had the utmost caution about him in general.
Oh, he played very well. He has the highest KP in the whole game. It's just,
Yeah. No,
as Blue Stun was saying, unfortunately, Thresh got 5 kills that game. And
Yeah.
so if that was a 6-kill Irelia, a
Yeah.
bit more pressure.
Yeah, but I think definitely the games went really well, and I'm proud that our team was able to make it to grand finals and get our third match against the 34th.
So I'm curious. We were a little puzzled with y'all's draft for the second game. Did you guys know exactly what you were doing, or were you just kind of?
In the first three, we were just going a normal draft, but once we saw 4 melees on the other side, we realized that they were just going to they were probably going to stack a 5 melee comp and basically run us down with like essentially only top lane champs, other than like Diana Thresh. And our response to that is, if we ever picked a normal comp into them, they would deathball us to like the ends of the earth, and we couldn't stop him. Because initially I was going to go Shen, but changed my mind and ended up going Alawi, assuming that they would go 5 melee, and they did, and made it very hard for them to ever gank me, and made it very hard for them to enter a objective fight, specifically the very last one. Additionally, Smolder is super good against heavy melee comps, as we saw.
Right. Yeah, he was very hard to touch, and he was able to. His long range was able to help him follow up the Nocturne and Vex. But yeah, I just wanted to say you did a really good job with your wave control up there, and then there was a misplay on the Volibear, and you did get a kill, which just launched you ahead into that lane. And yeah, it seemed like you were going to be just an unstoppable force for the rest of the game at that point. But nonetheless, Volibear hit that 2-item power spike with a little bit of help from his team, and he was a big force too, as well in that middle game and some of those fights in the mid lane.
Yeah, it was a little difficult. Sorry.
Sorry to cut you off, but what's crazy is the Smolder Nocturne recall in the base of the red side. That was just insane to watch.
Yeah, okay. So we don't know why that was even allowed. Smolder Nocturne actually able to get the recall off was absolutely insane to us. I thought that they were dead for sure. In fact, like I think he even showed himself for a split second at the tier 2 mid, but he still somehow they just didn't bother chasing him. And I think that's what led to a very big portion of their downfall, not being able to like get him out and stagger his respawn for the next objective.
Yeah, we were talking about it, that there was a possibility they were aiming for just trying to kill the Elder Drake as soon as possible, and so not chasing and then doing Elder, but then they didn't do Elder in the very beginning. They were, I think, trying to go on to you or going on to somebody in the beginning of the fight too. So yeah, it was strange to watch that, but I think both of these games were really interesting just because it felt like the Black Knights were up in gold both of these games, and then there was one insane play that kind of just put you guys in the lead. In the first game, there was the Baron play where they all went on you around Dragon when they had Dragon Soul, or when they were going to go for their third Drake, and then your team all went up to top to do Baron. The enemy team went up and tried to fight it, and then you TP'd in. Or actually maybe you just walked in and went and engaged on them, and you guys won that fight. And then this time, same thing. You guys were down gold. I wouldn't say the majority of the game, but at least towards the end. And then that last team fight there at Elder, you guys swung in the lead. So how did it feel playing the game? Did you guys feel like you had control over the majority of the game, or did it feel kind of like similarly like you guys just made kind of like a really good macro or micro play at one point that kind of swung you ahead?
So we took some After our tiebreaker with against the 34th, we've definitely gotten together and discussed some of our flaws and such. And one of the things that we discussed is basically our intent when we draft and how we approach these games. And how that plays into this is that once we were able to like figure out what the enemy was essentially drafting, in both games, if you notice, they have really heavy frontline / death ball compositions. But it's mostly a ton of tanks and then 1 or 2 damage dealers. And with that in mind and predicting what the draft was going to be, we decided that we wanted to pick champions who are super good at either breaking up groups of people or punishing them for it. In this case, it would have been Alawi Smolder in game 2. Because if 5 people get together in an Alawi, that's like 8 tentacles going around, and plus Smolder Burn is insane to deal with.
Yep.
And in game 1, the Aatrox were, well, you don't want to get hit by Q3s from Aatrox, but you can't avoid it being 4 melee, right?
Yeah.
So we played comp positions built to kind of beat death balls like that, essentially.
Yeah, I think there was one Q3 you hit at that Baron fight on 3 that probably gave you like 400 plus HP back and did about 25% of 3 people's health bar. It was kind of insane to watch, but
yeah.
Yeah, really good play. But that's cool that I mean I think that's in line kind of with what I was saying, that you guys have intention-based play and intention-based comps, that you're not too worried about maybe the pacing of the game because you have something that you want to do, and as long as that's happening, you're good, and you don't really mind whatever else happens in the game because it's not as long as it's not destroying your game plan. So
yeah, throughout game 2, we were just literally telling each other, yeah, they're on their 3rd dragon, let them have it. They're on their soul point, let them have it. Yep. We actually just abandoned all objectives that game.
Yeah, I was actually worried because Smolder, I saw on soul point, he didn't have his doesn't have his stacks ready, and so I thought you guys were going to throw it at basically just try and win the team fight if possible, and I thought it would be kind of where you guys lost the game. But yeah, not doing that, waiting for the Smolder stacks and then going for the Elder Drake, I think was really smart. But yeah. So 34th coming up next week. How are you feeling about the next game? Obviously with a 2-0, I think that's a big confidence booster, especially against, you said, some of your longtime rivals. So looking forward to the games next week.
Definitely looking forward to it. 34th is basically our next upcoming blood matches. We've pitted against them before several times, and they have a slight slight upper hand against us when it comes to like overall map movement, and they have a couple of wins over us from like the tiebreaker and the round robins and some scrims as well. But I feel like our team is getting our heads together, especially after our tiebreaker, and perhaps we are able to head into this next these grand finals with a fresh state of mind, some new ideas and some new strategies that might give them a run for their money. We're excited for it. Best of 5, Soft Fearless. Soft Fearless is freaking awesome. I'll say that right now. Can't wait for it.
You guys had some very decisive macro movements, like the Aatrox joining the fight at the very end of that Baron play. We talked about it earlier. But so yeah, I am very excited to see you guys bring it to the 34th. And for the record, 34th Ducks did lose to the 94th, so they're not invincible. But anyways, I am curious, what were the comms like after the 12th kill onto the Twisted Fate mid? Like, were you guys like trying to bully the Twisted Fate, or were the opportunities just kind of like presenting themselves? I just kind of want to. What was y'all's perspective on like the several ganks on Twisted Fate mid?
He was easy. not like
out.
Okay, no, not as call it to his skill. It was easy because at level 3 we took his flash, and since Vi has a point and click stun button, it made it made the entire rest of that like early game super easy for a Vi.
Yeah.
So it's just a unfortunately um a snowball effect from a level 3 gank.
I think that was good. I think you guys recognized in a vulnerability and kind of abused it, which I think is something good. But yeah, that was it was a fun game to watch, and it did feel bad. It felt bad watching TF try and do stuff without his flash 24/7. But yeah, good to hear the amount of confidence I think that you're talking about going into the 34th. And some new ideas and stuff. I think you mentioned it before, but Fearless I do think is awesome, and I think we're really going to see it in full effect on next week, unless you guys 3-0 or they 3-0.
Gotcha.
Even a game 4 or game 5 would be just the amount of champs that are going to be off the table there is insane. So I'm hyped to be able to watch that or cast it, and curious to see what you guys bring to the table there.
Y'all aren't ready to see the secret pocket pick Master Yi top.
Any
Master
sneak peeks?
The Master Yi top, the Kiana support.
Okay. Awesome. If you don't do it now, we already got you on audio, so.
Oh dang.
Yeah. All right. Well, awesome. Do you have anything for us or?
Overall, I think this has been a great series. 29th has definitely been very, very tough. We could have lost at any point. Utmost respect to all of their players. And a lot of our focused gameplay is not it's not like in terms of BM, but we focus because we have priority comms and targeting on specific players. So just know that like our everything we did in that game was purely to win and not to like
No, yeah.
like the TF part, right? Every action we did was calculated. We kept our heads cool. We didn't look for tilt or BM. We're just here to win, have fun, and yep, good job overall. 29th and 34th. I'm coming for your necks.
Nice.
Bring it.
All right. Well, good job today. Good job to your team. And we'll see you next week, hopefully with new picks and some good strats to try and win the Fort Meade Cup for the finals next week. So good games today.
This has been the FMC 29th versus 501st. Stay tuned, everyone. We'll be back next week.
See ya.